Hi everyone, this is the final part of our Reddit dApp tutorial where we're going to talk about the high-level design of how we will create our Solana smart contract to create a dApp. So in the previous video, we talked about how we would go about creating comments and replying to other people's comments. So in this video, we're just going to talk about how we can upvote those comments. And for those not familiar with Reddit, comments, as you can see, you have comments in a thread. And then inside these comments, you can upvote or downvote them. Like always, if you missed my previous videos, I have a playlist that you can go back and check them out. Otherwise, before we get started, here are some information about Solana accounts that I'll just skim through, pause the video and read it if you need to. All right, so let's get to the meat of the video. The requirements for comment upvoting is 1, we want to see the total number of votes a comment has, and 2, see if you have voted for a comment specifically. So here are our comment voting solutions that I've thought of. So the first one is we have a comment account from our previous video. So all we need to do is we just need to add a counter to our comment account, and that's just a number that we increment every single time someone likes a comment. Option 1 allows us to see the total number of votes made to a comment. Option 2, however, is for us to see if a specific user has voted for a comment. And to do that, we're going to create something called a comment vote account, which will keep track of that metadata. More on that later. And then finally, option 3 is if we want to have both solutions, we can just combine both of them, and I'll show you how that is done. So creating a counter for total number of accounts. So as always, we have our feed account. This is just one account that has all the threads in existence. Next up, we have a thread account. A thread account, we can find the thread account by looking up its specific ID, which is just a count on the feed account. So for example, if a feed account has a count of 5, that means there are a total existence of 5 threads, and each of these threads would match to a specific thread account. And inside the thread account, it has all the metadata, like what the title and the content of a specific thread. And of course, from our previous video, we know that a thread account now also has a comment account, which follows the same logic. So from the comment account, we can find our comment account, and we use that by specifying the thread ID and then the comment ID from both of these accounts. And so one addition we're going to add to this is we're going to create a new field called vote, which is a unsigned integer 64. Oops, actually, that's not. It should be unsigned. It should be signed. It should be I64, not U64, because a comment can technically be negative. But anyways, it doesn't matter. So we just add this counter, and we just increment and decrement the value depending on the votes that are made. So the conclusion of this solution is it's great because we can see the vote total a comment gets, but we don't know who specifically voted for it. Okay, so option 2 allows us to resolve this problem by allowing users to create individual accounts that represent their vote for a specific thread. So going through the example again, we still have our thread account. Thread account has the comment account. And then from there, the new field that the new account that we want to add is this comment vote account. And how we represent this or find this account is we have a seed of 4 variables. We have a static string comment vote. We have the user's ID, pub, which is a pub key. This is important because then we can quickly check if a specific user has voted for a comment. We need to know the thread ID of the comment that we made, and then we need to find the specific comment ID that's mapped to the thread. It's important to know that the comment ID is not unique. We reuse the same value. What makes it different is that we have different combinations of thread IDs and the comments that are associated with it. So comment ID of 1 is completely different if it's associated with thread ID 0 and thread ID 1. Anyways, so the content of this account is we just have a vote, which is a type of signed 8. So the values for this, it can just be -1, 0, and 1 to represent if we upvote, downvote, or have not voted. So anyways, we know the pub key of the user, we know the thread ID, and we know the comment ID. And that's how we can find this account. So conclusion, this is great to see if a user has voted for a comment, but the problem is we don't have a way to track the total number of votes a comment has. So how do we solve this? Well, we just combine option 1 and 2 together. So we have this thread account that we've already used. It has, we know the thread ID and we know the comment ID. And then we have the comment account. So this contains all the metadata of the comment. This is just option 1. So with this implementation, we know the total number of votes. So the only thing we're missing is just identifying if a specific user has voted for a comment. And to do that, we just simply add back the comment vote account. And we know the thread ID, we know the comment ID. Then all we need to do is just check if your specific user has made a vote for a specific comment inside a specific thread. And so in conclusion, this serves both cases, but the problem, just like we might have seen in part 2 of the white paper with threads, is that it relies on multiple lookups to get the data that we want, and it can be expensive. And that's why maybe it's better if we actually store some of this data inside a local database instead of keeping it on the blockchain. But I digress. In this tutorial series, we're going to keep everything on the blockchain and maybe have a post-mortem at the end to see how we can have improved this. Anyway, so in conclusion, we are going to choose solution number 3 because that meets the requirements of both knowing who voted for a comment and how many votes a comment had. Yeah, like I said. All right, so what's next? Well, we are done with the high-level implementation. Hopefully you guys all understand or at least have an idea of what were some of the decisions that I made that came into making these accounts. So now it's time to start coding. Hopefully, as you might hopefully see, I pump these videos out in rapid succession, and you see I'm wearing the same shirt actually, so it's all in one setting. But I'm planning to do the same thing for our next set of videos where we actually implement these smart contracts that we talked about. So until then, I will see you all later. Bye.